Welcome, everybody, to a Delco Nerd Network podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Ragucci, and here with a few friends in the Delaware County area. We get in a basement and we talk about a certain topic. Today's topic, of course, is going to be let's talk about Nintendo and the Switch 2. Here to discuss, as always, the triple threat, Chris Trio.
Gooch, I forgot my Mario hat, which I actually do own, and I'm kind of upset about it. I did mean to bring it, but I'm ready to talk a little
That would have
Switch.
been... I wouldn't have expected that.
I know. I'm sorry. It was sitting in my closet. It was
New
ready
shirt, too? New shirt and a different hat? That would have been nuts.
It would have been wild. It would have been insane.
nuts.
But how's it going? How are you?
I'm doing well.
That's awesome.
Interesting stuff with the Switch. I'm like,
Indeed.
I'm actually like somewhat positive about it, which is kind of weird. But let me introduce our guest, our resident Nintendo expert here in the Delco Nerd Network here in Delaware County, Chris Connor. In the middle.
Be back, and you said that I wish I brought my Luigi hat.
I'm sorry. That would have been perfect. Oh man! And then we shouldn't have acknowledged it.
Clearly, not a lot of behind the scenes coordination.
It's just how it kind of goes. We're free and flow. We're freeing and flowing here.
I'm surprised you didn't wear your Link shirt. That's what I was
That
expecting.
would have been very on brand, but like that's too like straight arrowed for me. Like I gotta give some curveballs here.
Yeah,
Like,
Trio will wear the Flash shirt like 17 times on the podcast.
I haven't worn the Flash shirt in, I think, 3 years. It's been like a while, so I don't want to hear nothing about it. Anyways. But do we want to get right into it here, or I guess we got to get into the first stuff?
We're gonna, on our monthly topics, we usually talk about what we're playing, doing, watching, whatever.
Indeed.
Do you want to start us off, Chris? Does Trio want to start us off? I think I started us off last time, but
I'll take the rope if you want me to.
Go on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
go for
Okay,
it.
so we didn't get to cover it on the show, and I'm sad about it. But as far as like movies and TVs go, Severance season 2 finished a week or two ago now.
Yeah.
No, probably 3 weeks now.
no, like last week.
It wasn't
2
last
weeks
week.
ago.
It was at
2
least
weeks
2
ago.
weeks.
ago.
And
Around that time, yeah.
yeah, it was fucking phenomenal. Like, I really can't recommend this show enough, especially if you're someone who goes into an office every day. I think that there is something really interesting that you can kind of gather from it, especially with its themes around work and just this idea of separating your two consciousness, your two streams of memory and making yourself basically become trapped at work. It's such an interesting concept. I think they continue to explore it in a very interesting way throughout season 2. I think they give some interesting answers on questions that were pressing in the first one without like completely running the gambit. I don't know. I heard some people online saying like it's getting people like this could start approaching Lost territory, and I'm like, we aren't even close to Lost. Have you guys watched Lost?
Not in a long time.
Yeah,
Did you watch
very
it like
long time ago?
Did you? But did you watch it like as it was on, or did you kind of just peek in and out?
Definitely a peek in and out. Like
same.
I knew how it ended at one point. I don't
Right.
think I remember how it ended.
Everyone talked about it. There's no way you wouldn't know about it.
Right, and then it's just like people felt like they were being strung along, and they didn't really know what they were doing. I really don't feel like that's the case here for Severance. Ben Stiller directing it is very interesting to me. I forget he's done like The Cable Guy and some more kind of darker comedy stuff. Have you seen The Cable Guy? That's
Like
like
Larry?
No, just The Cable Guy with Jim Carrey. Yeah. It's a very odd movie. It's like a dark comic.
Has a very weird.
Yeah, like so Jim Carrey plays
Is it like 90s?
Yeah, he
Okay.
plays like a cable guy who shows up to this guy's house who just went through like a breakup and like becomes very close friends with him in a very odd way. But I would highly recommend that. Severance season 2 on its by itself is really fantastic. I think Ben Stiller has kind of brought up something very interesting, and there was a guy who came up with the show initially and brought him the idea. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, and I probably should. He deserves all the credit in the world. But other than that, Daredevil season 2, of course, that's continuing on. I'm thoroughly enjoying it so far.
Not Daredevil season 2, Daredevil
Born Again. I'm sorry,
season
I don't know
1.
why I said. I think I copied season 2 there. Born Again's fantastic so far. We'll get into
Yeah.
it in depth on the review, of course. But
Yeah, probably
I
next
think
week.
I think these first 6 episodes that I've watched have been, worthy of the Daredevil name, in my opinion. And then to round off movies and TV. So one day I just had nothing to do, and I saw Transformers 1 on not the first Transformers movie,
right,
the
the
animated
one,
Transformers 1 on Amazon. I'm like, fuck it, I heard good things. I'll pop it on and see what it's all about, and it was really good. I thought Hemsworth was great as Optimus Prime. I can't remember his name at the beginning. It like changes, and you see the origin of the Primes and how their homeworld is going through some strife, and how the Autobots and the Decepticons are formed. And I was surprised that I enjoyed the animation as much as I did. I feel like I remember seeing the initial previews and was like, this kind of looks but throughout the movie, I was blown away. There was some really cool action. There was actual transforming. That's one of my major issues with those later Transformers movies. You never see any transforming.
What later ones?
Like the 3 and 4, like the live action ones. Like you always cut away from a transformer and then it transforms and you cut back and it's a robot.
Like actually show them actually transform.
Yeah, or they're transformium. And they just like turn into a ball and then turn into something else.
I like the way Michael Bay does in the first.
In the first couple movies, yeah. So you see it like they really kind of like revel in it.
I was like, this is
you
cool.
see it all the time.
I'm not a Transformers fan.
Yeah, for sure. So that's kind of my major issue with that. But the animated movie's amazing. I would definitely recommend it if you're bored one day. Even if you're not bored, if you're a Transformers fan, which I'm really not. I just tangentially enjoy the stuff. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's nice to see after it's been milked so long with the live action.
Exactly. Yeah, and
I know Last Night is not necessarily like a good example.
Those later Transformers movies feel like
was
other
Bumblebee
movies.
Good.
In what?
Bumblebee.
Like the
Oh,
movie
yeah. That's so funny. I forgot. You were just asking like,
That's
is
how
the
inflated it
character
is.
good? And I was like,
Did Bumblebee the actor
he's a
do
good,
a good
Was
job?
the character good?
He's good. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's good in the show or in the movie.
Is John Cena in that? And like,
I think so. And Haley Steinfeld. Yeah, I heard that's actually pretty good. And then there was like Rise of the Beasts or whatever recently.
oh my god,
A lot of those later movies feel like they just took different scripts and were like, let's put some Transformers in it. Anywho, moving on to some games. I won't dive into KCD 2 more. It's still fantastic. It's pretty long. I am about 70% through the main campaign, apparently. Trucking along. I'm excited for the review. Next up is Atomfall. That was on Xbox. I've been playing that through Game Pass. People have been calling it like British Fallout.
people have been calling it the second coming of Christ.
The British Fallout, if you will. And I kind of agree with that.
The way you said that, we're like, some
people have been calling it, the next Fallout, if you will.
It's like you're trying to be a Bullwinkle. You're just trying to do it like this,
But it's interesting so far. I'm only about like 4 hours in. It's super.
I heard it's not too long.
It's as long as you make it. It seems. Apparently, you can beat it in 5 hours.
Yeah.
It can take up to 30 hours. But there's like no handholding in this at all. Like you get thrown into it, you kind of find things throughout the world that give you clues, and it's like you need to look around this place, and you'll have to discover it on the map and kind of track it down yourself. There's coordinates and things like that you have to use as well. So the story seems to kind of unravel very much as you take it, and it's somewhat directionless. So directionless in the way of there's no objective marks. You're figuring out a lot of it on your own.
Right.
And you got to kind of figure out what happens. You wake up in this bunker in this exclusion zone at the beginning of the game. You don't know how you got there. There's been some type of crazy atomic incident that's like causing this weird purple aura to spew into the sky. The setting's beautiful and it's interesting so far. It's a Rebellion game who does like those Sniper Elite games. And it feels double A-ish in that regard, but I think the gunplay feels really good and the stealth is, as good as it can be for the game so far. But, I'm excited to get more into it. After that is AC Shadows. I'm going to save most of it for the review. I think gameplay-wise, this is the best the game have been in a while in this like current form anyways.
Right.
The combat's the top tier of the whole entire series. I mean,
Combat?
yeah, it's so good. It feels so responsive.
I've heard everything's been all over the place with that.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people who like it. There's a lot of people who don't like it.
I've seen
which
people
I
share.
Guess, I don't know if Valhalla was like. I don't think Valhalla like reviewed like that.
I don't think it did either.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I've seen videos of people being like, "This is the highest difficulty," and this is what the AI does, and they're just like slashing it and it's not doing anything. And I'm like, I haven't been having any experience like that. Like they've been very responsive and on top of me and kind of tough to beat. The parkour is, what it's been in these last games. They're not, leaning into that much, but I think the overall parkour and movement throughout the world feels very good, especially when you're in stealth. Just being able to go prone. I know we talked about this off air. It's such a small thing, but it makes such a major difference just in the way of how you can traverse different environments and sneak through different environments and keep yourself out of people's eyesights. Like, it's amazing. I really do like it, and it's my favorite part of the game. My girlfriend and I was playing the other day, and she literally just got enthralled in me, like, just clearing out a fort, and she was like, this is so cool. You're doing all these little flips and stuff. There's some flourishes that they added to make it feel very ninja-like. But I'm really enjoying it so far. The story so far, I will say, is the weakest. It's very much... You have this contract board and you have objectives attached to each contract and you just kind of do those as you please. And there's story points involved and you get cutscenes and things like that. but it's kind of explore at your own pace. So I'm curious to see how that ends up. And then finally, to wrap us up on the games, is Death Stranding 2, Gooch. I know I mentioned this before.
Well, Death Stranding.
Well,
I'm sorry, Death Stranding 1. I don't know why I have so many 2s on here today. I mean, this is in anticipation for Death Stranding 2.
Right.
I'm playing the director's cut.
Unless
I mentioned this
Kojima
before.
gave you early access. He totally went around me.
We're not that good of friends yet, but we're getting there. I think.
Still love that joke that from the Game Awards, Jeff Keighley's best friend. But wait, what is Jeff is Hideo Kojima's best friend, but does Hideo Kojima know that? That was
it's very good.
And his reaction, he just turns and has this emotionalist look on his face,
But yeah, Gooch, Kojima did it again. I got through the first phase, the first.
He always does it.
He does. I got through the first area a month back, and then got to the next one.
I remember you talking about it.
And I just remember seeing the next open world, and I was a little overwhelmed. I'm like, you know what? New games are coming out. I started getting into KCD and this other stuff. So I put it down, but I don't know why it called back to me the other night, and I couldn't stop playing it. I played it for 5 hours one night. I played it for 4 hours again last night. Were you just in delivery mode? Yeah,
or were you doing story?
Yes, because I was gonna just do the story. I was planning on that, just mainlining it. And I don't know what happened.
Yeah, but
I just got
you
locked
gotta
into it.
maximize that delivery efficiency.
I'm building roads.
You got the sequel coming out, so you might as well get into
right.
it.
And I guess you do get more out of the director's cut, right? Story wise, I don't know how much that adds to side stuff, but I do think there's new story content, right?
In the
main campaign, right?
No.
Oh.
In the quest with the mazer gun.
Oh.
You know
I don't know if I've
about?
gotten there yet. No.
Okay, so it's in the first area.
Oh, okay.
It's
then
a
I
stun
probably did.
gun. And it's new in the director's cut. That said,
there's a V reference too. I just got last night. You
Yeah.
get cybernetic things that you can put on.
Yeah. So all that content's in the game.
That's cool.
And then those side quests with it's the mazer. It's the Metal Gear
gun
looking levels.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
I'm excited to get
those
into
have
it.
a new kind of story that go to some characters and kind of flesh them out a little bit more, which I thought was pretty cool. But it's nothing
mind-bending.
you gotta see it.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
If you looked it up on YouTube,
You'd get it.
Right,
Sure.
yeah.
But, dude, the game is fucking gorgeous. It really is. It was obviously gorgeous on
the
PS4,
Pro?
but on the
Pro, yeah.
Pro, and it doesn't have a Pro mode. I will say it's not PS4 5 Pro enhanced, but even still, I think it's a PS5 version because of the director's cut.
Right.
It's so gorgeous. The haptics are some of the most interesting haptics I've ever dealt with in a game, with the way you're going over different concrete or rubble or snow or.
We'll talk about this with the Switch too because
Yeah.
of all its
Capabilities.
uniqueness. Devs are still not even utilizing PlayStation's DualSense stuff.
No, it's true.
And,
Only
Death
very
Stranding-
few.
Yeah. And that just to bring up the point that Death Stranding really not even originally for that console. Let's do something
Fully
with the
immersed in it.
DualSense.
Yeah. When you're going over grass versus snow versus gravel versus through a river, it's a noticeably distinct
holding
feeling.
Having to carry certain stuff.
Right.
Having to make sure he doesn't get. Is it he or
Like
she?
you fall, it's Sam.
BB. Doesn't get
well,
changed.
BB's
Oh.
girl.
Do we know
Spoilers.
that she's a girl in that whole game?
Lou.
Lou,
Louise.
yeah, Lou. See, I always
Louise.
throughout the game I always thought it was just Lewis. I don't know. And then
Louise.
I thought
At the
Death
end,
Stranding
it's the
2.
last scene in the game.
It's been a while, Gooch. That's why I'm replaying it.
Yeah.
It's all blending together. But yeah, dude, it's been fun. I can't wait to play more of it. Probably tonight or tomorrow. And I think you should give this game a shot. If you never have, it's a weird ass post-apocalyptic delivery
Now's
man
the fucking
simulator.
time. It's
but
on
it's the
everything.
time. It's on everything. You got the new game coming out. It's very relaxing if you're into that sort of thing. You can pop on a podcast. Even the music, when you hit those certain music cues coming over the ridge, it's weird that it works so well.
So
it really is.
Wood Kid is going to be replacing Low Roar for the game, but I think I think Low Roar really has this depressing kind of tone. For Death Stranding 1 and this sense of loneliness, and I Death Stranding 2 from a tonal aspect is totally different.
Yeah.
So I feel I don't know if Kojima would have went with a different band, but the lead singer of Low Roar died. Low Roar is
I remember you
not a
mentioning
thing
that.
anymore.
Yeah.
But
I remember seeing that, I should say.
yeah. So Wood Kid has such a different tone in music, so it's going to be interesting to see how he incorporates that into what the feel of like that moment is going to be in Death Stranding 2 compared to 1.
And I will say, I just can't wait for Kojima's like actual spy game because like the game plays just so well. It's so tight. Every step you feel, it's really fantastic. He's a one of a kind game maker. I can't wait to see what happens next. And
he makes experiences.
He really does. No, he is an auteur. I will.
Yeah.
I've very much come to that realization as you already have a long time ago, for sure. And then just a real quick one to finish it off. A little bonus. I finished Invincible Volume 1 comic. Really good stuff. I love reading through it. I think the art style is fantastic. I like seeing the differences between the shows. I like how they handle Omni-Man versus how they should handle him in the show. Not very much the same, but slight tweaks that are very noticeable. Would definitely recommend it. They release the volumes in a very consumable set. There's so many different ways to read it. I can't help but recommend it enough. But that does it for me.
Chris, let's bring it around town.
Okay, well, games-wise, I've been going a lot back and forth lately. Majority of the time is PS5. Been going into Lies of P. But first time.
That's a pretty different title for you. So I was kind of like impressed that you even jumped into that because I haven't even played Lies of P yet, and I want to.
I mean, it just seemed like a game where it's more live action. You have an idea. It's based off Pinocchio. You have some ideas, even though it's nothing like the original source material.
For sure.
But it's definitely like a game that really pushes you. Like, it's not necessarily like, say, Battletoads, but it's definitely something that really, really will have to make you try and be more careful with your actions. Just felt like it was something to really try and get into. Everyone's into Elden Ring, etc. I might as well just try and
give it a shot, right?
Just once,
Yeah.
Otherwise, been going back to the Switch. Been playing, finished up Echoes of Wisdom. Got back into Pokemon for absolutely no reason. Just decided to. And just really been trying to focus on just all of the backlog. Wanted to try and get all that
the Switch backlog or
Switch backlog, just general backlog, everything. Yeah. Like, I got so many RPGs got to play. Try to get into more Persona games. Just have to buckle down and try and get some of it done. Otherwise, just collecting dust.
It's tough sometimes.
Yeah. I think we all kind of deal with that bullshit. Like, the backlog is never ending. Like, you'll never finish every game you want to play. Like, it just doesn't happen.
And then I want to replay so many games. Too,
right.
So, that's a problem.
And how much less that happens for me. Like, I played Fallout New Vegas plenty of times after I got all the achievements in it.
I mean, there are very few games where you definitely want to go back and re-experience it, even if it's something you didn't understand everything. Just go back to it so you can try and put the pieces back together.
Yeah. That second playthrough, if especially if like an open world game, everything kind of seems a little less daunting because you understand like what you need to do and how to do it.
I'm definitely feeling that way with Death Stranding.
Yeah,
I gotta get back into that too.
Yeah.
I mean,
you were. Did you jump back into it recently?
I've been meaning to. It's probably because you guys talking about DS2, but I've been meaning to get back into it just for the heck of it. I don't know if I'll get DS2 around the time it comes out, but I definitely want to try and get back into it. Because I feel like I just took my time. And I've been doing that a lot with Lies of P too, just want to make sure I don't rush it,
Right.
Yeah. I feel like I get into that kind of funk a lot, rushing through games and like, I don't know. You just kind of feel like, oh, am I like playing this correctly?
Or even like forcing yourself to like play. Like, I don't know.
It's not even like the force. It just I feels like I'm like listening to a podcast. I'm like on my phone half the time. It's like, what am I really doing here?
Right.
Sometimes you just zone out.
It's true.
Yeah. I wish I was kind of locked more into games. Like I feel like I don't play games how I used to when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like with this like obsession kind of where you're like, I don't know, like you go to school the next day and you're like talking
you're just waiting
about it,
for
and you
it.
go back home and yeah. Chris, anything else you're playing, watching, doing, whatever you want to talk about?
Yeah, TV-wise, I haven't been doing too much, but meaning to try and get back into Invincible. I think I need to renew my subscription. Eventually try and get into a bunch of other stuff. Otherwise, just jump on Netflix, just watch any random stuff that comes up. I remember I was rewatching the animated version of Justice League. Like, that was one thing I was rewatching for a while.
Yeah. Cool, man. Cool. Awesome. I will finish us off.
Yeah, what have you been up to?
KCD2, I'll say, finally in the Kutenberg area. Not the city, just the area.
I've been in the city for like 20 hours, it feels like. I'm not even kidding.
Dude,
Sorry.
I kind of felt like with that with Witcher, like once you got into Novigrad and Velen, like you were there for a while.
Yeah.
So I'm like, like once I get in that city, I know I'm going to be in there. But yeah, great game. We'll talk about it more. Avowed, I'm in the third area. I got through Emerald Stair, the second area. Wasn't a fan of it, but I really like Shatterscarp, the third area, and then there's a fourth one, and I think I'm done. But I have come a little bit down off of Avowed. It is a bit. It is exactly like Outer Worlds 2, and it is the definition of okay. You know, it's kind of a shame that Obsidian is kind of just like, besides Pentiment,
Yeah,
Outer Worlds and this are just like, yeah,
they're good.
they're good, they're okay,
They're fine. Yeah,
The world can be a bit overwhelming. I feel like now that I'm like in the game, I feel like they're like talking about like events a little bit less, and it's easier to digest. I'm not really sure if that like glossary system is really helping me. It's kind of like you just don't have the context for it, so the more you hear about it, the better. Like it'll start just sticking eventually. Like, oh, like okay, like I don't know, you just put the pieces together. But like looking at the glossary and like what's Deadfire again? Like,
right.
I don't know. Like since you're not seeing it and it's nothing to do with what's going on, it's like out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. It's kind of like a little detail from like Fallout that like has nothing to do with it but gets brought up, and then you kind of, after playing it for a while, maybe you just kind of understand it because you understand the world better.
Right.
That's kind of the situation I think Avowed falls in for a non-Pillars of Eternity fan like I am. And still playing Gears 5, so really nothing new on Xbox. Grinding away at that Seriously 5.0 achievement. I've gotten a lot of progress done, and I think I'm hitting a point where I might put it down for a little while. I mean, E-Day is not 2025. We know that now.
Oh, when was that revealed?
I think remember that that direct.
Either way,
That like South of Midnight was shown at.
Oh, right, yeah. Actually,
Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
we would have,
okay.
if it was 2025, it would have been there.
You're right.
That's what it was for.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah, we're not seeing that this year. So I definitely got some time, but yeah, it's kind of getting to a point too where I'm like getting a little. I need to like take a step away, and I'm playing tons of other games.
Well, especially for those grindier achievements, I can imagine.
Oh yeah, it's a ton of grind.
Yeah.
Like I'm not even like scratching the surface with the grind for it. But on PS5, went back to Astrobot, did those newer levels that they released.
I gotta do that. I really
Same.
gotta do that.
Pretty good. It's more like the first batch. It's a lot of reused assets, not a ton of new stuff, new bots and costumes, I think. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, you know, the special bots.
Yeah, it's cool that they're doing that stuff for free. Is it the Winter Wonderland? I think was the real treat for the Astrobot stuff, but like, yeah, it was like okay. I jumped in on like a Saturday afternoon. I finished in an hour, got all my achievements. I'm out. I'm curious how much more of that they're gonna do for Astrobot because we've gotten like 3 batches of it.
Yeah, it feels like you should, like I always love the extra content for free, 100%. But maybe I think it is probably time to move on to the new thing, right? I don't know.
Right, unless they got like one more, pony,
Sure,
I mean,
yeah.
Only big thing would probably be if they decide to add square characters, because that's probably the big thing that's missing.
See, you have to think that Team Asobi is working on their next game. So like
yeah.
so whatever that is, maybe it has to do like integrate Final Fantasy characters, because like whatever it is with Astrobot, like it's got to be that
Has to have a
IP
theme,
integration.
Right.
And I feel like Final Fantasy opens an avenue for like
An RPG version.
yes, yeah, and I feel like why they didn't include them with Astrobot, but they did with the Playroom. So like why add them now when maybe they're cooking up something different? But
Yeah.
also Square didn't agree to be in that game, so that
would be key.
yeah. So we don't know. Interested to see what they're gonna do there, but yeah. I also got the Fantasian Neo Dimension Platinum. I'm done with that. Really, it was just wrapping up my New Game Plus. I had to get to level 99. That grind wasn't too bad. And then do a secret boss. And by the time I was 99, I kind of breezed through it a little bit. But it was kind of like a little like boss rush, and then 3 bosses, and then I'd face the main boss, and then 3 bosses again, and I do another phase in the main boss.
Seeing you describe it sounded like it was crazy.
The game, yeah, it's a bit. It's like. It has multiversal elements in it. So it's kind of like Final Fantasy 4 and like Lost Odyssey, which are 2 games by the same guy, had like a baby. It is pretty wild for an RPG. Yeah, there's like a lot of different like dimensions. That's why it is Neo Dimension in the game.
What?
Yeah.
Jackie Chan.
It's a cool game. I feel like it's kind of like a tough to even finish. It's just long. It's like a long RPG that like I don't know if it's gonna keep your attention to the end. Like I could see tons of people falling off midway. But yeah, pretty good game. I liked my time with it. Glad it's done. And another game I'm glad my time with is done with is Mortal Kombat 1. I finally got the platinum.
Now that one
Praise
you
the
were
sun.
upset
I was
about.
waiting for a double XP weekend because I had to grind my cameo fighters. And the grind to do it normally was just like, this is not worth it. I'm just going to wait. And that's what I did. But Trio, I think this is it, man. I really think I need to move on to like another fighting game series. We've talked about this like a few different times. Like I feel like Mortal Kombat is just kind of like letdown after letdown.
Yeah, for sure.
I would go back to Injustice 3 for sure. But
Sure.
I just think Mortal Kombat is like, yeah, it's just they're just missing something.
Yeah, I don't know. It felt like it was like a peak. It was a real peak with like 11, I feel like, and even like what was the one right after Injustice 2? I think that was 11.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
those were
'Cause
where it
10
was really great.
definitely before Injustice 2.
And I don't know. I feel like Mortal Kombat is just this Mortal Kombat 1 especially, and we talked about it after I got it because I picked it up for like 45 for like both passes. I was just like, it just feels a bit, I don't know, neutered for lack of a better term. Like
I'm so sick
everyone's-
of the paid DLC.
the paid
shit.
DLC,
It's so hard
it
to
seems just so egregious at this point.
Yeah.
And then also even like the character designs were reined in so much, it just didn't feel like I was even like watching a lot of the characters. They were toning down a lot of the sexuality, which I do think is a big part of Mortal Kombat.
I think it's a big part of fighting games.
In general, for sure. Yeah, I'd actually totally agree.
Yeah, like
but,
with everybody.
and then just even like the costumes and stuff, like it was so in depth when you look at Injustice 2. And then you peel it back to what it is now. They've just, I don't know. It's very meh.
So the plat took me like all of last weekend to just kind of like grind out, I think like 2.5 cameo fighters.
Right.
But yeah, and I'm like, all right, I'm done. Like I wish I could have like had played as Omni-Man, but like I don't want to pay for that. Pay for it for like 4 hours.
And I
know?
joked for that. Yeah, remember my message? I was just like in the group chat. I'm like, because I have the first battle pass that came with it when I bought it. It was like $45. So I played as Homelander and Omni-Man for about 20 minutes, and then I moved on.
Done.
And
Yeah.
then so I'm like, I like looked at the extra, the new story DLC with the whole new pass of characters, and I'm like, $15. That's actually not bad for like all of this. Like you get everything, and I'm like,
Yeah.
but should I spend the $15 just to play this for another 2 hours and then never go back to it?
No.
Why? It's just on principle. I shouldn't do that. That just adds up. So
Yeah, I think they gotta like I don't know what other fighting games are doing. I would love to play like Soul Calibur hasn't been around for a while. I feel like their entries do. I knew Tekken
Right.
just came out. Street Fighter came out like 2 or 3 years ago. Street Fighter 6, and I'm just like I feel like I need to get in on the character design. Like I don't really care about the story, but I just need to like those characters are cool. Like that makes me want to jump in.
So
Right.
basically, you're going to Dead or Alive.
No, I don't. No way. I'm trying to think. When's the last time Dead or Alive even came out?
I forgot that game was a thing. Now I'm just like it's just popping into my mind.
Exactly. Yeah, like 360 era? Mate, probably. I haven't heard about Dead or Alive in forever. I don't even know if like that series even exists, but no, not Dead or Alive. There was no way Dead or Alive would happen in this day and age. There's no way. But yeah, more like Soul Calibur. I was like, Soul Calibur seems like kind of like cool.
They tricked me so good with Soul Calibur when I was younger because I have no idea what it is, and then I saw like Yoda in it or like Darth Vader. And I'm like,
yeah.
I'll get it.
Link's
got it. I'm like,
Link's
what
in
the
Soul
fuck is
Calibur
this?
too.
Yeah.
on the GameCube.
You can always get into Killer Instinct.
Yeah, but it's old. I want to get in. Here's the thing. I also feel like I'm late to Tekken. I don't even want to be there. You know, I don't want to go get it.
What am I
I
doing
didn't get
here?
it at
Yeah.
launch. I'm out.
Right.
You know, like
I
I
hear ya.
missed it. It's like kind of like it's like FOMO. It's like, but I already missed out. So I already.
So it's over.
Yeah, it's
done.
over.
Yeah,
It's done. There's no.
you lost it.
no
You missed
shot.
it. It's over. It's
One
over.
more game. I started A Night in the Woods. This is a game by Finji, the people who did Tunic.
Huh.
And you play as it's like a Pentiment kind of game. I was like, I really needed a change of pace. I didn't want AAA. I wanted indie, just something like different. I've been kind of like AAA fatigued lately. So it's basically a game about a 20-year-old girl who drops out of college and goes back home, and she lives in like, you know, like a town in the middle of nowhere, and everyone knows each other, and you know she's got like a history there, and you know she comes back, and like I'm not really into like what is going on, but like that's what's going on.
Right.
So like you know she's like
Very mystery-esque kind of.
yeah, it seems like there's going to be some sort of mystery that happens. There is something that happened already, and like she finds like an arm in the middle of the street, and like her and her friends are like, "What the fuck is this?" And a cop comes by, so like that
That's the setup.
started the Yeah, it's interesting, and like everyone's like animals and stuff, and it's cute. It's a cool little vibe, and I'm interested to see where it goes. Joey Farrell talked about this game very highly like years ago. I think it came out in like 2015.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty old. Oh my god, 2015 was like 10 years ago.
It is.
It's exactly 10 years ago.
Yeah, let me wrap up. I watched Only Yesterday. Only Yesterday is a Ghibli movie. My favorite so far. It's basically like a slice of life film. This girl who is like an office worker in Tokyo takes a vacation, and her vacation is like working in a farm in like not in Tokyo, like
in the country land or whatever. Yeah,
and it was very moving. It's very like nostalgic. Like she's kind of as she's going there, she's reflecting to like this 5th grade version of herself, and like essentially just being nostalgic and like kind of relating like her childhood to now. It's very good.
And I'm sorry, you said it's Ghibli? It is Ghibli?
Yeah.
Okay.
The dub was done in 2016. Daisy Ridley plays the main character.
Oh.
So this was, I don't know if there was original dub, but they redubbed it.
I feel like I do remember seeing like some type of trailer for an anime movie with Daisy Ridley.
It's very good. I was like very moved at the end. I was like, holy shit. Like I didn't like talk for like, I watched it with Kathy, my girlfriend, and I didn't like talk for like 20 minutes. I was just like sitting there like kind of like taking it in. Really impactful. I love when a slice of life movie really hits. Kind of like, I would say it's slice of life. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
100%.
Like very just like,
mundane. We're observing the times, right? Yeah.
Right.
Like,
there's nothing like crazy happening here, but like you're kind of like
except
into,
for when
into what you're seeing.
Right. Yeah. Except for when they light someone on fire in a pool. But yeah.
Yeah, and then he like throws a can like beans at somebody's head
and breaks their nose.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Honora. Actually, I'm pretty sure. In that, the girl who plays Honora is the woman in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood that gets canned in the face.
Yeah, I think you're right. I know.
And lit on
I know
fire.
Maya Hawke isn't one of them too.
Yeah.
Lastly, Bad Batch season 2. Not too hot on it, Trio.
I can't.
It's a lot of filler.
I don't
It's
remember
a lot
it
of
specifically.
one-off filler,
Yeah.
except for like, oh, we're finally getting into like the clone facility on this planet, and I have 3 more episodes, so I'm hoping the end of it kind of brings it up for me. But honestly, very low on this season 2.
Bunch of build up, not sure if it's going to pay off.
It's not that. It's just there's a lot of episodes that are just like episode of the week. Bye. You know, this plot doesn't matter.
Right.
We're doing something.
Story of the week.
Maybe
Right,
some characters are progressed a little bit, you know, but like I expect that of the Clone Wars, not of Bad Batch, you know.
Sure.
Clone Wars has a lot of that, and I think it makes sense because hey, we're in the Clone Wars. There's a lot of that kind of shit going on, and I think it worked for that show, but I don't think like episode of the week, tale of the week works for the Bad Batch.
I hear you.
Let's get into our topic today. We're talking about Nintendo and the Switch 2. Here we are. In the next generation.
Switch 2. It's hard to believe they're honestly using a number right after their original. It feels like Sony, like just having to change it, like Switch 2. Like,
Yeah.
Were you surprised that they just kind of went that like
oh, definitely
not
like,
surprising direction after N64, Super Nintendo, you know, GameCube, Wii, you know, like they've had such even Xbox has had a lot of non-traditional naming conventions,
Right.
but
Nintendo's always been kind of like that, even back with the NES, SNES, and then Wii U. But this one just felt the oddest because they're literally just doing, oh, it's the second version, so we're just going to put a 2 there.
I mean, it's very much iterative, so
I think it's fine. The Switch was a huge success for Nintendo. You know they weren't going to go far. You know,
Totally agree.
Like, I mean, we saw the leaks. We knew we were getting a Switch 2. We just didn't know like what it was going to be called.
Yeah.
But we knew it was going to be called Switch. So let's get our general thoughts before we kind of talk about the announcements. Trio, what'd you think of the Switch 2 Direct?
So I didn't watch it live. I just went back and watched like a recap and stuff like that. The thing that really just struck me the most coming out of it, and we talked about this before the show, was how much the whole show is how much of the truly crucial information was not within the show itself.
The price being
the price being a
one.
major
Absolutely
one.
not
I mean,
there.
even like, you know, elaborations on how game crossover, not crossover, but like upgrades
Game
work
share,
and
upgrades.
share and like, you know, specific details that I would like to really, you know, define my purchase. You know what I
Right,
mean?
yeah.
To define whether or not I'm going to buy.
Let me know how much money I got to try and save. Come
Right.
on.
So I thought there was some good showings from the game department. One good showing in particular. I think Donkey Kong was my absolute favorite
that
thing
was
of
my
the
favorite
show.
too.
I thought it looked very cool, and I'm excited for that. I am not by any means like a huge Nintendo fan, so I wasn't
Right.
waiting for this to be like, oh, I'm going to get this day one. I was never going to get this day one. It's just how I feel about Nintendo. I'm not running to get it. But there's some good, there's some bad, there's some ugly. I think the price is reasonable. I think
for the console.
For sure. I'm sorry, for the console. Thank you for that clarification.
Very need to specify.
The price for other things, it's going to be very tough to swallow. And, I don't know if we should in a lot of ways, but I unfortunately think a lot of people will, and they will sell fine, and this console will do fine. But yeah, I'm curious to see where everything goes, and that's kind of my high-level thoughts anyways.
Chris, you're the Nintendo fan. You're here because we are not. Trio's like in the middle. I'm not a Nintendo fan. You are. So
yeah, I dabble.
Is this what you want from a new Nintendo console?
When it comes to the tech, how they're going forward with this, I would definitely say so. I feel like Nintendo, for the last couple of years, they're so focused on trying to figure out how to adjust the experience with the hardware that they're not even focusing that much on the software. But now with the Switch 2, there's so many minor changes to what they currently have. So I feel like they're going to focus more on the games themselves. Like, that's a big thing. I mean, like you said, I'm a Nintendo fan, but even I have my gripes talking about like how Nintendo doesn't use certain properties they have, etc. And I certainly hope that now that they have focused more on, or hopefully they will focus more on the software with this new system, instead of constantly trying to just make it, it's new motion controller, it's complete new haptic feadback. That's
right. I think it's a good point, because the Switch was brand new. We've never seen anything like this, like a handheld, and Wii U was kind of that, but we don't talk about
first real successful version.
Wii U was the prototype.
The tablet console with the traditional console system. Like they've done it, so they're iterating on it, but they're not like building it from the ground up.
No.
So I think you're right. There probably is more time to then build more games, or make it 4K, which thank God it is. I was actually shocked to see the docked mode is 4K.
Yeah.
Like some games apparently can run 120 frames, right?
Yeah. I was impressed.
That is impressive. Yeah.
Yeah, especially for Nintendo, where the Switch was at 720p and in the handheld mode, and then 1080 on the TV.
I believe they were running. I saw this today, running Cyberpunk on it at 40 frames. And it image quality is pretty good. It's not going to be like a PlayStation 5 or anything like that.
I mean, seeing
can't expect
Cyberpunk
that.
in that direct, I was
seeing
wow.
seeing Elden Ring in that direct
for sure. Well,
yeah, it makes sense.
I was personally really curious on the power level of this, and it seems to be a bit of a mix of things that I was expecting. But we'll get more into it. Sorry.
I mean, the power is going to be hard to see once. What are they called?
Joy-Cons.
No. Who's the guys who break down?
Digital Foundry.
Yeah, once Digital Foundry gets their hands on it and we get the breakdowns of everything, we'll really understand.
Because it's like running Outlaws, and that's only PlayStation. That's only next gen. So that kind of surprises. And it's so that's what I'm kind of surprised about that. It's running the gambit a little bit power wise.
Yeah. So my opinion, I'm definitely not getting it. There's no achievements, so what's the point? No, but I don't know. I'm just not a Nintendo gamer. It's just not what I played and grew up on. I have nostalgia for other things. I do think, it the handheld version of it, I think that appeals to me in a way, but it's not
It depends.
Do you know how sorry, go ahead. No,
you go ahead.
I didn't mean to cut you off. Do you know how many times I've used it in handheld mode?
Yeah.
Probably I could count it on both hands, genuinely.
I haven't been too much either. I still got to get my Joy-Con sent in to try and get rid of some drift.
Now you know. It's just the Nintendo consoles isn't for me. It never has been, and that's fine. I like to give Nintendo shit for things because there is plenty of things to give Nintendo shit for. But honestly, I think what I saw, I was pleasantly surprised with. I think, for the most part, what they're offering is pretty good. Yeah, the launch lineup, not really great. But guess what? Neither was PlayStation 5's, really, and neither was Xbox Series X. All the lineups for all this generation was bad. But they are getting a ton of third party, which is great. And guess what? You can play all your games. So we live in a different generation.
Most of them.
That was
true.
That was the big thing we were so concerned about, whether or not it was going to be backwards compatibility.
Yeah. So I think we're in a different generation where launch lineup doesn't matter as much because of that.
I totally agree.
Yeah, because it's very clear this generation. Think about 360 and PS3 and Switch. How
third
different
party
that was compared to Nintendo now.
Yeah.
You know, we're just living in a different world essentially.
I mean, third parties carrying this generation, this current generation.
The Switch,
yeah.
Switch definitely has the biggest library Nintendo's had in a long time. Like the fact that we got the Metal Gear collection on the Switch, like I was happy to see that. We're doing that sort of stuff.
Right.
And even though Kingdom Hearts is on there and it's unfortunately on cloud,
I was
that's the biggest
surprised
issue.
we didn't hear about the cloud version. How the hell is Cyberpunk even on the Switch?
That's the thing. That's
Like,
what's
do?
blowing my mind about the power of it. Like when it's docked, it must be somewhat beefy. I don't know. Maybe beefy's too hard of a term.
But like not even that, but like from the storage size.
No, well, that's the other thing. So that's the other thing where they fuck you. So you get 256 gigabytes of internal storage on this.
And
so you're getting a bunch of memory cards and stuff, and those
they're-
ones aren't.
They're only micro express.
Right. So
Yeah.
the last generation Switch 1 cards aren't compatible.
But that was the same
Which is-
thing with like last generation, where like I can only use my external from my PS4 for PS4 games on my PS5. We had to
Right.
buy the M.2 drive. Sorry, we had to
Right.
buy the proprietary drive to run the new Series X games on the Xbox.
And-
like that's not surprising.
I will say I don't think they have to be proprietary on Switch. You can just get
no,
micro
they're not.
USB.
They're not. They're not
Yeah.
proprietary.
You can just
Yeah.
get whatever
those aren't
storage
crazy,
device that you
like-
want. They're micro SDs that you use, right? Instead-
Micro
or-
SD Express.
Express.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is one thing to watch out for. So you're gonna have to be buying. That's the
And
thing
now
with
you're
the price.
competing with everybody else.
And
buying a
Nintendo's
Switch.
going to have their own brand. They had their own version of micro SD. They're going to have their own exclusive for this now. In case you're wondering,
sure.
how's this
get
going
a
to
little
work?
picture of Mario on it. It's
And
gonna
I
be
will
great.
say then that also then start. How much is one of those if you want a good one, a beefy one?
I think like 150.
$150 for
For a micro? I'm
a
not
micro
sure about
SD
that.
Express. Like for to
Look it up,
expand. Yeah,
look it
I'm gonna
up,
look it up. Yeah.
I posted it. I think it was like 150 for like 500 gigs.
Micro. Oh no, I don't want to get out of this.
I don't think micro are usually in the triple.
But like,
digits.
think about it. An M.2 was like the same price.
Micro SD Express.
Yeah. And just do anything.
Yeah, cards. Yeah, so for a terabyte, it's $90. So listen, even at that,
$90 for a
$90.
terabyte.
So this is for SanDisk. So it's a reputable thing.
Okay.
So that's an extra, and you need that if
Yeah,
you're gonna
you
be
need
if
it.
you're gonna
You
use
need
this
it.
as like your
If you're
console.
gonna play Final Fantasy VII
Yeah,
remake.
I mean
and
that's gonna be
Cyberpunk.
like
That
256
game, I still can't
gigabytes.
believe that's going to be on there. You know,
Exactly, like 256 gigabytes might be enough to store like
a couple
Call of
games,
Duty, like maybe
It
if
depends
you want to play on that.
It depends on how crazy they're going to go with, how you've seen all these games on Xbox and PlayStation. Like you have to download this much in order to start playing it.
Well,
like,
for sure,
That's like
but-
that's the new era. We have to make sure we have
Does
some
Switch
sort of.
do that?
I think you have to download the game to play the game. I
Now
thought.
you do.
Well,
I believe
updates.
so. Yeah. Well, but you have to download when you put in the game for the first time, it downloads to the console, right? It does that every
Switch.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it pretty much will start downloading to the console. I haven't tried the newest update they have where you can actually download it into the console. I usually just use the cards.
Oh, so it is just okay. So it did used to just be the cards. I didn't realize that. So like obviously for the other consoles, I mean when you have a PlayStation or Xbox, as you guys know, but it downloads it to your console to play it every time. So that is a difference, but that would make a big difference. I should
But I
say.
mean,
but if you're doing that with Switch 2,
with Nintendo's push to digital,
exactly. So you're downloading that every time.
right?
So you need probably, at least one of those for sure. So that's an extra $90 on top of the $450, which, by the way, is really $480 with tax. So then this is going to be about $100 with tax. So you're almost getting up to $600 there easily. And then there's some extra add-ons that they got in with this camera stuff, which you don't need, which we'll get into.
Yeah,
But,
let's start off. The Direct did start off with Mario Kart World. We knew we were getting a new Mario Kart game. We didn't know it was going to be Mario Kart World, open world.
That was literally the first thing they showed when they first teased at the Switch 2. That's pretty much what they were selling us with. You've had Mario Kart 8 this long. You've had it with Wii U. You've had it with Switch. Well, now we got a new game for you.
Yeah, and it is a launch title. It is coming out June 5th with this thing. Trio, you've had more people come over to play Mario Kart at your house than I think you care to admit.
Yeah, that's fair, actually.
What do you think? Did Mario Kart World do anything for you? It's open world. It's a racer.
So yeah,
That's
I mean
so
the
weird.
open world stuff sounds interesting. That seems like side stuff, right? There's still the regular courses and things like that, of course, and
It's like free roam,
Right,
And then
and you can do that
play the
whenever you
actual
want.
Grand Prix.
right. I think the idea of racing to each new track is kind of interesting in and of itself. There seems to be a lot of new characters. I like the little outfits for everyone.
They're getting very odd with the. You got a
Like
cow.
the cow?
That's for all the ladies.
You got a fish.
I'm sorry.
You got
like,
a snowman. Like
I'll
all
show
these
my girlfriend that cow, and she'll be like, "Yeah, let's do it right now. Let's get that." Yeah.
I mean, like I've seen plenty of Mario spin-off games dip into some of the more minor characters.
For sure.
But that one surprised me. Like,
But so 24 racers, which sounds like pretty wild. The tracks looked cool. The new flavor looks interesting. You know, I feel like they're making some pretty big changes for being a game that's been in development for God knows how long. I mean, we've had, like you said, since I didn't realize that was out during the Wii U. That's
yeah.
fucking insane.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I mean, it's $80 though.
Yeah.
So that's one thing.
Crazy.
That's something.
And that's so there.
And that's for the digital.
there's
crazy.
2 bundles for the Switch. One is just the Switch base, that's $450, and then the bundle, which comes with Mario Kart World, is $500. It kind of just pays to get the bundle.
It absolutely does.
Yeah, like there's no point to not get it.
And
like,
I mean,
and you know everyone is gonna buy that. So
all right, let's have the sticky conversation real quick.
yeah.
For game prices.
80 to 90.
I am-
like, that is ridiculous.
It's insane, and I know people don't want to hear this, and I'm sorry. I really am.
It's still
but
going to be bought anyways.
It's going to be bought anyways, and the fact that game prices hadn't raised since till 2020. When did we go to 70?
With this current generation,
Yeah.
2020. Yeah.
It stayed $60 for as long as
Long
I can
time.
remember,
Yeah.
regardless of inflation and everything else. And I really think this is on the devs for taking too long and not doing this sooner and not genuinely leaning people into it sooner. And now Nintendo is going to just sit there and be like, yeah, this is $80. And you know
guess
what?
what? It's never gonna go on sale.
It's never.
It's not. It's not your situation with Assassin's Creed Shadows, where
No.
hey, maybe you don't want to pay $70,
No.
and Ubisoft loves sales. They're
Yeah.
gonna mark it
Yeah.
down in
Within
like
3
4
months. Yeah.
you see
know?
a pre-owned game on Switch that's like $5 off the original price. It's not going
Like,
to go
you
down.
might as well just get a new copy.
So, like, if you want to equate hours played to how much a game is worth, the amount of I've played Mario Kart, yeah, it's probably worth $80.
You know Mario Kart's going to be the most played, the most competitive.
Especially if you have friends around and stuff like that. Like,
It's the
that's
party
going to
game.
play. Now, I'm not going to sit here and defend them for that. I think it still is awful during this time period. I think your money doesn't go nearly as far as it should. Your wages haven't increased with inflation. So that all adds on top. But, like, I do think this is majorly on the game industry, like I said, for not leaning people into this sooner and holding the bag for so long. We just haven't seen a price increase, like I said, with games for so long that this was just inevitable. Now, does that mean I like it?
and of course, it took
No.
Nintendo to do it.
The
Yeah,
fact
and
that-
they
Out of
can.
all people, Nintendo.
The fact
they're
it was
giving everyone-
Nintendo that did it. Like, we were expecting to have a $70 increase. We had that with a couple of games like Tears of the Kingdom and all, but never would we have thought it would go up to 80 and 90. We were
yeah,
expecting it
it's
to eventually go to
it's
70.
ballsy.
I would have expected 80. I love the idea of making the physical or like making the digital game cheaper because you aren't printing a thing. But I didn't expect it to be 90-80. I thought 80-70 maybe or something like that.
Yeah.
If
insane.
anything.
It's
yeah,
egregious.
it's listen.
It's
I'm
hard,
not.
it's hard to defend it.
I'm
you
not
know?
gonna defend it.
And
I
not
was-
gonna.
but it's just more of a reality.
Right.
Yeah, like
and,
it's,
and we were talking about it before we started, like the tariffs that Trump is imposing.
Right.
Like, how does that affect things? Like, we can only speculate because
Yeah.
nothing's been solidified per se. So it's like, okay, like things are going to go up even more, I guess, possibly.
Yeah.
I think there was
There's
a
a chance for
report
sure.
that Nintendo made a lot of Switch stuff in Vietnam
Yeah.
as opposed to China because
and then now
of that.
that's going to possibly get a tariff. I don't know. That's
Right.
something we'll see how that shakes out. And I think regardless of his tariffs or whatever, this was going to be a
it was still
$450
gonna happen
console.
regardless.
Oh yeah,
This was
yeah.
gonna. I think they were going to
But
price
for
this all
what
this
the
way.
console do, I think the console price is fair. I don't see a problem
I'm
with
fine
it.
with the
I
console
also don't.
price. It's just
Yeah.
the games that
Yeah,
I'm
the
not
game-
No, I
Games are
completely
like-
agree. It's
Dude, like
it feels so egregious.
imagine Split Fiction is on the Switch. That's a $50 game. I mean, I would agree that it's a $50 game. I would have still bought it if it was a $70
Yeah.
game, but it doesn't feel like a $70 game
Right.
in a way. It's
Well-
the most AAA
And
indie you're gonna find. But
imagine
like,
like indie games too. Like you got Hollow Knight, you got Deltarune that's going to be on there. Like you can't expect them to go higher than that just because they're on the Switch too.
right, and you got to think about it. There are plenty of devs who don't sell their games for $70.
Well,
like
I was
going to
say, like, these are all I guess this is only talking first-party games, too, for Nintendo, like you're saying. But I do, in an optimal world, I would hope that this gives devs permission to use more of a sliding scale. Genuinely. Like, like you're saying with Haze Light. With Split Fiction, they feel like that game's worth $50, so they sold it $50, and they sold it in gangbusters.
They give you a copy for free.
Fucking copy to give to other people. It's insane.
Yeah.
So
that's a lot of value.
Like, would I have been fine with paying $80 for Witcher 3 back in the day? I use it as like my favorite example. Yeah, probably. Yeah, I probably would have. And I also think that gaming is, unfortunately, and I know people might not want to hear this,
A luxury hobby?
a luxury hobby. Absolutely,
It's
it is.
becoming
Especially, well, it,
I mean,
it
really
always has
was.
been. It's
Yeah,
like
I
for
would-
how much you pay for a console and how much each game is, especially if you play the way like we do. And I don't know how you play specifically, Chris, but like if I want a game, it's coming out, I'm buying it the day it comes out, and I'm buying it for full price. That's a $70 game. I bought the console for $700 when it came out.
You bought the Pro.
And I bought that. So like, yeah, I'm
You had
spending money on
PSVR
this
2 for like 10
for
minutes.
10 seconds, and I sent it back because it was broken, and I'm glad I didn't, because I wouldn't have gotten the Pro if I had that. But I just think people do tend to forget that, and if you want to wait for some time, like wait a little bit, it will be significant. Well, maybe not Nintendo games, unfortunately, but gaming as a whole and games in general will be cheaper.
I think the date is kind of interesting. We're totally off topic from card, but we'll get back to it in a sec. Because it's like not the holiday season. They're getting it out before the holiday
2 months
season.
in advance.
Do you think they're doing that to be like, let the gamers get their console for 4 months, then we'll get the families?
Dude, are you kidding me? When someone walks into Walmart or whatever and that's sitting on the shelf there,
Yeah, that's the gift next year.
Thank you.
2025. Yeah.
You've seen how it is with Pokemon card scalpers. Like they're trying to do their best to get rid
Don't
of the
make me
scalpers
throw
that are
up.
going to go
yeah,
into
the
that.
playtime thing. They stole my idea, Gooch.
Yeah, they have a system to prevent scalpers.
Yeah,
right?
so it was talking about the playtime thing that we were mentioning on the PlayStation podcast, where it's like they're limiting the first access to people with active accounts and with a certain amount of playtime. So
I'm a scalper.
So you'd be a scalper. So listen. I'd rather you, who has played for 300 hours on your Switch, get access to it first than me, who's played for whatever 70 odd hours or whatever. I'm totally fine with that personally.
What do you have to say about Mario Kart?
Mario Kart, I definitely do think it's very interesting. People have been waiting for something new, even with all the DLC they kept doing over and over again. And it's definitely taking a bunch of different directions when it comes to it. Like, even the smaller stuff, like the rail grinding, the jumping from wall to wall, and you get boost gauge. It's like it's making it more high power, or not high power, more skillful.
Like faster.
High
faster.
octane,
Yeah. I was like, I knew what you meant. Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, it's a kart racer. You have to iterate on something, right?
And it's going to be more focused on, say, if you're good at the game, if you're skilled at this game, like you're at a platformer, then you're going to be doing much faster if you do these secret paths. The fact
Right, you got the wall riding, right?
yeah, the fact also that you even have alternate paths you can take, not just simply go down the track. Just have to try and find alternate means for it.
Yeah, it looks impressive. I gotta say, like all the Switch games, all the first-party Switch games look impressive. Especially Donkey Kong. I mean, we'll talk about it at the end. But the one thing that didn't look impressive was that C button, man. Holy shit! What year is it? Like, this is the part where I am just like, I'm gonna rail this so hard because it's so fucking stupid.
Nintendo finally added a button designated for just chatting. So
And it's like Discord. And like, that being said, Nintendo, why not just partner with Discord?
So can I tell you why?
They would never do it.
Yeah.
Never.
But also, it's just like, I get them wanting to have their own sectioned off things for family, for like their familial ecosystem to use.
Yeah.
If you're on
They'll
Discord,
use for a month.
for
you
sure.
know,
But like, I don't listen. I don't
Twice.
know. I think like with especially your young kids and stuff like that, like with the camera and how
I would
the
love
mic's
to see
open
the use
source. Like,
case.
listen,
Love to.
like with younger kids, I think you might have something there. I think you might be surprised.
I mean,
But I do get not using a Discord. But yeah, should they have? Like, is that the way they should have done it?
Right.
Yeah.
Switch didn't have voice comms, and like they're now in like 2010 with like the rest of
They
us.
had it through like the app, right? Or something
yeah,
like
I
that.
think they
yeah.
had through the app. Yeah.
Yeah, and like their screen share and like the demo of it was like a
Like 12 frames per
slideshow.
second, yeah.
I'm like, yeah, like they have like virtual backgrounds with like the camera. The camera, I think it, and again, the camera's like, remember Xbox One, guys? Do you remember how that went? It didn't go well.
The camera is very hit or miss, especially because Nintendo, you think family friendly. And Nintendo is notorious for this. Whenever they try doing something that has sharing or showing, there's always going to be someone that misuses it.
Oh
yeah.
we're gonna.
Oh yeah.
There's gonna be something.
I
or
can't
other.
wait. It's gonna be great.
I mean, I still remember with the Kinect camera, people were like, "You can't turn this off," and they were like, "Well, yeah, no, you can't."
Well, and it's gonna be like the same thing of like, remember how many videos of people throwing Wiimotes at
Right.
TVs
Yes.
that were going around?
I mean,
Like,
you had people saying curses for a Pokemon game. You had people drawing stuff for certain stuff on the
Yeah.
Smash Bros. WeChat thing. Like
God.
Nintendo,
The-
unfortunately, will always keep doing this and hoping that the audience will mature. But
This won't
not
happen.
too
right,
sure.
it's gonna get memed the hell. The camera is like only $60 or $50 or something like that.
It doesn't come with it. Yeah.
I think that's a fine price.
You
but
can
it's,
use-
it's USB-C.
Yeah, you can use third parties.
Yeah,
ones
so if
too,
you
so-
have, I think most people don't have USB-C webcams.
Yeah.
They're pretty higher grade than a USB webcam, so that would probably be the problem. And I think like actually their price point for USB-C camera is pretty
pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, this is so goofy. Like, welcome to the fucking current generation, Nintendo. Thanks. Yeah, I can't believe you made a button for fucking voice chat.
Whoa.
It's like crazy.
Whoa.
Like the Xbox guide button was probably pretty odd, but like PlayStation has their own version of that.
I mean, it feels like the PlayStation mic button, like something like that.
Yeah, like they almost should have called it something else. Like, why call it the chat button? Why not call it like the Nintendo button?
Why do you need a
Do they
button
have
for
a-
chat?
The Joy-Cons don't have like a Nintendo
No symbol on them. No,
yeah,
no.
that is a button, right?
No,
Okay,
no.
I didn't think so. Yeah, we got the camera, but let's talk about the specs for the Switch. The LCD screen is 1080p, which we talked about. It supports 120 frames, offers HDR support. The docked mode is 4K. There's a lot to love there. I was surprised. The 4K, the 120 frames, I was like, wow.
Like they're stepping
We're moving up in the world,
Yeah, that's
gentlemen.
insane. Actually.
Yeah. The
Joy-Con.
handheld mode, no, not the Joy-Con. Handheld mode has the kickstand. That seems like a big,
Big pickup. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, that was on the original.
I was gonna
one,
say,
too,
yeah,
but-
you
Oh,
had,
it
yeah,
was.
you did have a kickstand.
But it was like kind of rinky.
yeah, it was a small one.
It was
Yeah.
very,
okay.
It was very flimsy.
Lightweight. Yeah, for sure.
It has two USB-C ports. Also, that the mic for the camera thing is on the Switch.
It's on both. It's
System?
on both the system and the controller.
Yeah, which is like it's just like again. Here's the guy with the blender in the background. It's like, what are we doing?
It's for kids. They
and that
want to hear
brings
what who their kids are talking to.
And that
That's
brings
for
it
parents.
up, though, that they actually
Probably.
brought a lot of emphasis on. Apparently, they're having sound dampening technology in there to block out other sounds. Like
We'll see if that works.
See how that
Yeah,
works.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The Joy-Cons, we kind of known about this for a while. The magnetic connection. Trio's had a lot of issues with Joy-Cons. Chris just said earlier that he had Joy-Con drift. The big thing, if they don't have Joy-Con drift issues, I think they're going to have a successful launch. That was a big controversy.
Like at launch for that.
Well,
it was.
once we get 3-4 months
That's what I
down
was
the
thinking,
line
yeah.
and everyone's Joy-Cons
Are
start
fucked.
drifting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing about Magneto, though, I feel like eventually it will wear out. I'm not too sure exactly. I'm afraid that'll eventually
Yeah, I
happen.
really don't know how that connector works.
Yeah,
More
so
technical-minded
it's-
people
the,
would
the
know.
magnet is in the Switch,
Yeah.
not the Joy-Con.
Right.
The Joy-Con is a piece of steel
Metal
that
that-
connects into
okay.
it. So
But I would assume it would last. I don't know. Do magnets like demagnetize after a while? I don't know how that works.
It'll,
think they
it'll
get
eventually
weaker.
lose strength. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But like they said it like it's in there pretty tight.
Yeah.
The Switch is about 2 inches bigger than the last one.
Yeah, I believe
Yeah.
so.
So
yeah, I think the
The
screen.
handheld. Yeah.
I think that's fine. It can't be too big, It's not a Steam Deck, but it's cool that the Switch 2 is like competing with the Steam Deck. The Steam Deck is only like 90p or whatever. It's not a 4K thing.
Yeah, but is it really? Like, I don't know. It's you don't have
The
like
Steam
Steam.
Deck?
Yeah, like I feel like that's still totally in its own.
Now you
like,
bring it
Yeah,
up.
but like it is a competitor.
it for sure. I guess for a certain age range, definitely. But like, I
Yeah.
feel like if for someone who really knows consoles and like really understands video games, like I don't know why you wouldn't choose a Steam Deck over this just for the amount of games that you could get comparatively. But I don't know. Maybe
Definitely
I'm wrong.
now you bring it up, it kind of does make me wonder whether the Nintendo devs definitely put the Steam Deck in when they came into redesigning this. So I feel like
Oh, I'm
this is our
sure they took
competition.
points from that. Yeah, and like saw where that worked and stuff like that. Definitely.
Yeah. What do we think of the mouse?
I don't really
It's
understand how it
odd.
works.
I don't really get it either.
I feel like it's them trying to make a whole new control scheme similar to what they did with the Wii.
like,
I
all
like
this
the
sort of stuff.
idea.
I
but
actually,
like-
when I was sitting on my desk, I like put my phone down and I was like,
See, I think
This
it would
feels
be
weird.
Yeah, but that doesn't look like. I feel like
Right,
it would
but
be
like-
more.
but like,
it would be more like your remote over there.
What if you can't use it?
Like
Like,
you
what
don't
if
have,
you're not
you
in-
don't have.
Well, that's the thing.
You don't have a
That's
solid
the only thing that would be
surface right
annoying.
there.
You need to pull out like a flat surface of some kind, or like set up something like that.
It's a Nintendo gimmick that I think like 2 devs will use, and will be 3 years down the line.
Well,
and
I
totally
think the
forget.
idea would be that you, as long as it technically has mouse and keyboard support, like if it was a Call of Duty, I would assume that's not hard to integrate because it's just like another keyboard functionality.
Right, but I don't think it's supposed to be like a piece. I mean, it's a mouse. They're calling it a mouse.
Right,
But I don't think it's like supposed to.
It's not. You can't use it on a PC. Like,
Right.
Right.
It's not like that. It's not
Right,
like,
but
oh,
it's,
yeah.
I think it's supposed to act as one just on your Switch. But it's interesting. Listen, I think that could go either way.
It almost
honestly.
feels like an attempt to try and grab at people that are PC players. Like,
Definitely.
it seems odd in that way. Like Nintendo, even back in the
Maybe.
64 days, they had a few peripherals like that with the DD, but it wasn't like directly, oh, this is like a computer.
Right.
Yeah, it just seems kind of strange. And I know, like, they had it in the Welcome Tour, and it's like, what games are going to utilize that, and how? And that's
paid
kind of what I was
Welcome
talking
Tour.
about with, like, the DualSense. Like, look at how many devs developed for that. Not many.
Right.
So,
It'll probably be majority first party, not necessarily like devs are probably not going to say, oh, we should try and figure out something unique way to incorporate this.
I guess
Right.
it's just how hard is that to turn on for a game? Like say you do have Call of Duty on your Switch for some reason. Like, how hard is it to make an option that just lets your Switch act like like how it acts like a mouse? Like, I don't know. I really don't know.
And like, imagine if you're first person, you're about to go to a virtual computer, sit down, use your mouse, something like that. But
Yeah, I don't know.
yeah. We talked about the internal storage. It's pretty small, but that is the only issue I have is like with those big games.
Yeah.
It's like it sounds like it's going to fill your entire Switch.
Yeah, I mean, you need an expansion.
And you would think that those games that are not coming out, some of them aren't coming out at launch, but like, well, Cyberpunk is, but like that game can actually fit on the Switch, just without memory. Like, imagine
Cyberpunk 60, like I think it's like with everything, it's like almost 100 gigabytes, like maybe 90.
especially with how the
so
cards
that's
are
like half.
That's
memory.
a quarter. Yeah, that's a third of your thing. And by the way, 256 gigabytes, 50 of that's probably your operating system, or I don't know. That's
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
way
there is a
overestimating.
set. Yeah, you're
I
right,
just maybe
you're right.
10. But yeah, I mean, you get 3 like 70 gigabyte games on that, maybe.
especially with the game cards, like they're not really being too much the actual games; they're more just the download now. Like,
Yes,
it's definitely
that's
gonna
another
fill up.
thing.
They did
Like you
switch the
mentioned,
way
yeah.
the game
Yeah.
cards look, which I think is
I thought
Yeah,
that
they're
was
red.
cool.
kind of
Right.
useful because, like, I don't know, if you got like you're putting them in your carry-on bag. And
I thought that was cool. It
You can
felt-
easily identify stuff.
It felt like back in the Game Boy Advance days of Pokemon. You have your cartridges that are these colors, that sort of thing. Like I thought that was a unique little touch.
Well, and
Yeah.
especially I assume if you're like taking it on the road with you and you like pull, I assume you have your game case with all your games in it. It's easy kind of differential. Like you just put them on the side. Like
so I just said.
right. I was reading the size here. Anyways,
Is that what it said? Because
Moving
I
on.
didn't
No,
read it off
no,
of what we
it's-
have.
but
But I'm not surprised they're keeping with the card thing.
Right,
You know,
I totally
like,
agree.
I'm glad they are because
Okay.
that was the big thing back when it was Wii U to Switch. Like everyone's like, oh, now we can't do any of these Wii U games or Wii games on here because it's card now, not disc. Like
right.
I feel like they're trying
But
to
the-
focus more now on backwards compatibility, even though they're still notorious for
that
keeping
and
games.
and digital. You know,
Yes.
like they're not
I mean,
focused
with the
on
key card
physical
thing.
game with the game card
Yeah.
with. And what exactly? So
So certain games, it's not all of them. Some games are just going to be a key card when you buy it versus a game card. And the difference is that the key card
Just
does
active
not
download
have
it.
it just basically allows you to download it off the internet.
Right.
It doesn't have any data on it besides that. Whereas a game card has the entirety of the game on the game card.
I mean, that's already happening.
Ubisoft's doing it,
we're
Xbox is
already
doing
living
it.
that
We're,
way out.
we're
I've already
there,
had the-
but
yeah.
It's just the fact that it's a physical,
happening
it's a
more.
physical piece, and now it's completely turning into it's just another way to download it.
Will they taste the same?
And I will say, I hope
question.
so. I will say, like, as like a very physically heavy individual at this point, physically, I mean both physically and through my games. I don't see a reason to start getting physical games on this one, especially like this might be the next console whenever I do get it. I'm not getting it at launch, but I probably will get it eventually.
Same
I'm
here.
just gonna go fully digital. And I was listening to to Punching Up, and
Yeah,
they
I was
made
just gonna say,
they made a
Dustin was
good
talking about
point
it.
about he made a good point about I don't carry it around with me often. I mostly have it docked at all times. But when you're carrying your Switch around, you usually have hundreds of dollars of games with you while you're doing that physically. And I mean, if you lose that, you lose your Switch and you lose all your games, and that sucks. I mean, especially for something like that you're bringing with you everywhere.
Yeah, which like a Steam Deck
Or like your PlayStation.
or ROG Ally, the Portal, that's never an issue. 'Cause
Right,
it's
right.
all digital anyway.
Exactly. And even just like with your consoles, I'm never taking my PlayStation somewhere I could leave it with all my games. You know what I mean? So
that fucking
yeah, like I just lug it
I
around.
have transported them to my girlfriend's
Kill
house.
me.
Nuts,
Dude,
nuts,
it's insane.
nuts.
It's insane.
What an experience.
It's the worst. But yeah, so I thought that was a really good point that I wanted to bring up. But at the same time, we'll own nothing and we'll like it.
Chris, do you want to talk about the game share? I mean, I don't know if that's something you use already, but it's a little bit different.
It's kind of recently come out. Like they recently announced it like a week or two ago. It's a decent idea of trying to like have your game on one Switch and then you can play with other people that don't have it on there. Like it feels like you don't have to have an audience where you have to have this game in order to play with us. Like you can just jump on. But even with that, I got a feeling it's really limited.
Well, so if I'm understanding it correctly, you're saying we all have our profiles on our Switch, on one Switch. I buy the game. You guys can then play that on your profile as long as you're on that Switch.
I think you have to be like in the Switch. The family thing.
So
right?
then you can do it on different consoles. Then that's what I'm curious about.
I think it's like you kind of like rent the game from your friend.
It may be the new borrow system they announced recently.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Actually,
Or it could be something more like close proximity. If we're in the same room, we can connect
So
like that.
game share will be functional across systems, meaning you can join up with your local friends, whether you own a Switch 2 or its predecessor, the Switch. Game share supports the new game chat stuff. Yeah, so it's okay. Players will be able to join up and play together locally using just one copy of a compatible game. So the game has to be compatible.
It
It's
has
not
to be
everything.
compatible, so not every single
Even
one.
titles that require multiple screens can be played if one player owns a compatible game. That's interesting. I think that's fine. Like we have game share with other consoles. I think it's just like here's Nintendo's version of it.
I mean, they did similar with say the DS, but it wasn't really the actual game. It was more the side games. you
Yeah,
know?
so it's like here's the Switch 2 with a game, and then here's a Switch 2 without the game, here's a Switch normal without the game, and then a Switch Lite without the game. So it's like, yeah, I think that's fine. The DS had some features like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this isn't like new, but it is a little bit. The Pro Controller looks the same.
has paddles now on the back
I did see that, and of course the C
and the
button.
C button. Yeah, but for the most part, it looked the same to me.
Yeah.
I would say so. I definitely say I use the Pro Controller the most when it comes to Switch. So
Same. When I was playing Zelda, that was the only one I used.
that's also the question too. Like I've seen some articles saying that it is possible whether or not also the hardware Joy-Cons, former Pro Controllers are going to be backwards
Joy-Cons are
compatible as well.
$90.
Yeah, for pairs, right? Or is it just
Yeah.
for one? It's for, I would assume
fucking hell.
pairs.
Just for one.
But no, all Joy-Cons can connect. They can connect.
Yes, even the original.
via
Wow.
Bluetooth.
That's okay. I mean, why the fuck would you want to use your old Joy? I have my old Xbox
You have extra.
controllers.
Well, you have an extra one. You don't feel like buying new. Like if it works for Mario Kart,
I mean,
Why not?
I have my Pro Controller. I want to connect that. Like you have a Wii U Pro Controller that doesn't connect to Switch. Like that's something that they were.
Yeah,
always
I
notorious
get
for.
it, but it's like, hey, I mean, again, if you're having friends over, that makes sense. But like, you got the Switch 2 stuff. You want to use the new,
of course,
the new,
yeah,
that
yeah.
new. Yeah.
Again, it's extra. It's extra. Yeah, extra controllers.
There is a way to transfer data from your Switch to Switch 2. It doesn't say if it's digital or physical, but like this is kind of to be expected with this current generation.
Right.
With
a lot
Wii
of
and Wii
digital
U,
libraries.
it was using the micro SD card. I'm not sure if they would try to do something similar because, well, I don't think you can because it's only micro USB Express, so it can't say you probably do it the same way.
Yeah, it must be. Maybe it's probably through your Wi-Fi or something like that. I don't know. Or maybe it is micro USB to micro USB. I don't know. But either way, that shouldn't be. That should be fine.
I mean, it depends if you want to do it too. Like, considering how much space is probably going to be needed for newer games, I might not even transfer majority of games onto it whenever I get it.
I didn't do that with my PlayStation. I just loaded my profile on and
I did it with
downloaded
the
what I
PS5.
want.
I took like an entire day to load shit
Yeah,
on it. The Switch 2 has a tech demo that you have to pay, and it's digital only, and it's called
paid.
Welcome Tour. And it's basically
Astro's Playroom.
Yeah, it's Astro's Playroom. Here's what the Switch 2 does, but like
Even
Really?
if that's 50
You're not gonna
cents,
just
that's
pack
insane.
it in with the Switch?
That's why.
I mean,
like, what is it, like $5?
it better be like $5.
Even if it's just,
so
even if
silly.
it's
Like 20 or
50
something, it's
cents, that's
ridiculous.
fucking insane.
Yeah.
That's fucking wild. Yeah.
I like the effort to be like, hey, here's a little experience
Right.
to learn what the Switch 2 can
Yeah,
do.
that's like something that, again, would be included back in the day.
But
you
like
wouldn't.
Astrobot's Playroom was like a very impressive tech demo game.
Right, yeah.
Which is how
That had trophies.
which is how Astrobot actually came to be, the game itself.
Right, you think Nintendo
It had
would have
trophies!
You think Nintendo would have looked at what Astrobot did and like took any sort of fucking
Well, I feel like they kind of do, but then they're just taking it in a terrible direction and being like, we're going to charge for it.
For the record, I'm a trophy hunter too, but I will not play a game just because there's no trophies.
So Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and Tears of the Kingdom are getting Switch 2 ports. There's also going to be like an app with these games, and I heard they have trophies.
Trophies.
Yes.
Trophies!
Like on the app. Not on the console, but on the app. And I was like,
Yeah, the app pretty much is going to
Oh
act.
my God.
It's going to act like pretty much. It's like your GPS. Like you'll have your map.
It's pretty cool.
It can scan your stuff around. I like it. It's kind of. It makes me think back to when you used to connect your GameCube to your Game Boy Advance. Like that sort of interactivity that's kind of frowned upon these days. But everyone's got a phone now, so it's
Yeah.
probably good now.
Metroid Prime 4 is coming to both Switch 2 and the original Switch. It's going to run better on the Switch 2, obviously, but I think I kind of expected that. Let's preface, Mario Kart World is a Switch 2 exclusive. It is not on
Yep.
Switch 1. But this has been in development for so long. That
Yeah, they restarted it at one point, didn't they?
Wild
Yeah.
So it just kind of makes sense.
It looks great. I'm excited. I'll play the shit out of that when
yeah.
I get it.
Kirby and the Forgotten Land is coming to Switch 2.
Let me
And
interrupt you a sec. I'm actually
yeah.
kind of surprised that they didn't get the other two Metroid Prime games yet. We only have the first one
for the
Switch. We
Yeah.
Oh, like bring them forward? Yeah.
yeah.
That is wild, actually.
What is the Star-Crossed World thing with the Forgotten World?
It pretty much seems like a DLC-esque sort of thing where you're going to be running through different sorts of levels that you've already been to or possibly new ones, and there's going to be like a challenge mode to it.
So it's like an expansion. I mean, that's pretty cool. I feel like it makes, hey, like you want to replay the game, gotta buy it.
I was kind of expecting it when they
But-
expecting it when they won the award for best family game. So yeah, I've been waiting for something like that to show up.
Yeah. You know, again, the launch lineup isn't huge, but you kind of expect that some of the recent games are going to get these ports, like Pokemon Legends.
The fact it's backwards compatible too, I feel like they're really milking that. Like, oh, you don't have to worry. We're going to make sure you can play all your games on there too.
Well, there is a list that isn't backwards compatible
True,
right
yeah.
now, right? Like of like 23 games.
Do you want to pull that up?
Yeah, sure.
Because I was going to talk about Mario Party Jamboree, which seems like the Switch 2 version of it is like more of a game than the original version, which is pretty interesting.
It
There's
feels
more to it,
It's
yeah.
like a director's cut, I think.
Yeah, so it's coming out on July 24th, and yeah, it's been upgraded to essentially take advantage of the Switch 2 hardware. Like they were showing, like
It makes use of the camera.
yeah, the camera and stuff. I mean, you got to buy the camera. But yeah, like that's pretty cool. But also, like at the same time, it's like it seems like they kind of did that on purpose. You know, like with the Forgotten Lands, I don't think they had in mind like we're gonna release this for the Switch 2. You know,
Because if you don't see any new sorts of functions besides just the camera update, you know it's just a cash grab for people to say, "Oh, let's play it with the camera." We got to do that now.
find it.
I did. It's on Kotaku, which is just, I would like the list, please. Thank you very much.
It's like a recipe. You have to read a life story until
Well, you
get
gotta
to
get
the
through
list.
like 3 ads.
Like it has a picture of Mario in front of the list going like this. But then, which Nintendo games? All right, here we go. Nintendo Life. Come on. So Alien Isolation's apparently one of them.
That is not backwards.
That is having issues. God damn it, Nintendo Life.
I mean, I don't expect it to be too many first-party games, but I would say more third-party.
There's a list. So startup issues. Okay, here we go.
That's a big list.
Yeah, it's about. I mean, we can't go through all these, but like Fortnite is saying, but a Nintendo Switch 2 version is being planned of that, so that won't matter. I saw Jurassic Park. I mean, I did see Doom on here too at one point.
It's a long
It's a
list of
huge list that you
third-party
should look
games.
up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Warframe. I don't know. Nothing super big standing out to me here so far, aside from Doom, which I heard earlier.
But why are you playing Doom on the Switch?
Right.
Hey, Doom 64, man.
I mean, hey, if
not
it
the greatest
runs,
port of
if
it.
it can run at 40 frames per second on there and looks all right, like I think people would play the shit out of that on there.
We got another new game called Drag Drive, which is taking advantage of the mouse controls. It's a 2v2 basketball game that is like wheelchair basketball, not regular basketball. I'm curious what the idea. They talked about this on Punching Up, but I also was like, because like wheelchair basketball is a real sport. It's for paraplegics, but I'm like, why? Interesting why they want to make a game around it.
You've got so many NBA games. Who knows if anyone's ever tried going to this sort of demographic before? So
right. It's just kind of like, are we doing like, is that just for fun, or is there like is there like an accessibility inclusion thing going on here?
Right.
What's
going on?
Right. Yeah. I would just kind of be interested to be like, what's the inspiration behind that? In winter of 2025, we're getting Hyrule Warriors: Age of Imprisonment. So this is a sequel to the original Hyrule Warriors.
Well, there's the original Hyrule Warriors, and there's Age of Calamity, which like the original one is all about like a big mishmash of all these different Zeldas from back then. Meanwhile, Age of Calamity is all about Breath of the Wild. This one's going to be all about Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, and kind of expect that. Not a launch title, which again I think I kind of sucks, but it's going to be out in the winter, so it'll be out for holiday season. So even if you have your Switch already, they're trying to get you into that.
I mean, I haven't
Christmas season.
I haven't played Age of Calamity myself, but it was pretty surprising. Like you think, like that's the thing about the Zelda fandom. You think, oh, there's these gaps. Like what happened between this game? Like I never would have thought they'd actually try and make use of that, even if it's not canon. Like just to try and continue this series on.
Switch Online is also getting a GameCube library, which I kind of surprised. I didn't even realize they didn't have GameCube games on the Switch Online.
Expected to eventually happen.
I actually didn't know that either.
It's kind of goofy.
And that's the only way you can access those on Switch, where you can't like buy them a la carte or anything that, right?
So games include Super Mario Sunshine, Fire Emblem Path of Radius, Super Mario Strikers, Chibi Robo, Luigi Mansion, F-Zero,
Pokemon, all this sort of stuff.
I'm curious if like Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes will be in that list. But this is good. I mean, a little late, but good.
I mean, if they got Melee, everyone would flip out.
Do you think they'd do that?
They haven't put the original Smash on yet, so probably not.
Yeah.
I'm getting breaking information from Gene Park.
Uh-oh.
Apparently, the physical games aren't $90.
Whoa.
He retweeted this thing. It's actually crazy how many
Holy
people.
Shit, breaking news.
How many people are going with the story that Switch 2 physical games are $90? Almost every video I've seen covering it has parroted this claim. Unable to understand that 60. It's saying €90. Oh, it was €90
Euros.
People are seeing. So, okay, and then Gene just retweeted that saying misinformation is just an unstoppable wildfire.
About to say, don't give me hope.
So that's interesting. I mean, that's actually less egregious, if that's true, and I appreciate that. But it's still a tough jump from 20 for $20. I get
I
people
I would have gone with the 70, but 80 to 90, like not even. I assume that not even PlayStation, Xbox have tried anything like that.
Oh, but they're going to now. They've just been given carte blanche. This is the permission they've been waiting for, especially considering Nintendo's gonna get away with it. It'll be fine. Like it's not even gonna be a question.
Yeah, I'm looking at this myself. I'm just trying to like understand.
Yeah, I'm trying to piece it over.
I mean, that was the thing too. Like when I first saw that, I was like, "Is this April Fool's?" Like I'm probably just going through. I'm going through denial right now. I'm going through just grieving right now. I'm in the denial portion. Come on.
So if it was €90, that would mean it'd be like $100 US.
That's not true.
That can't be true.
The euro is worth less than the dollar, I thought. Or is that
right? So 99 USD.
So 90 euro would be less money American. So it would be like 7. It might be like 80. I'd assume it would be like 8.
I'll just listen to Gene and just say misinformation for now.
Yeah, I would guess.
Yeah, I'm looking through Twitter comments and I'm like,
I'll take his word for it at the moment, especially considering he was at the event. So come DNN for your breaking news, especially if you're on the live stream.
Okay, we'll see.
We shall see.
But let me ask you this real quickly. You're not buying a Switch 2 at launch.
Yeah.
Okay. Does like the GameCube thing? Does that? I mean, again, as somebody without like that Nintendo background, maybe does that sell you on getting a Switch that you can? Hey, you have access to these games that are unaccessible.
I think I would eventually get it no matter what.
Yeah.
I think that's a cool plus. I think that's definitely the generation of Nintendo I was the most familiar with. I had a purple GameCube back in the day. I remember playing Twilight Princess on it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's definitely the thing I have the most familiarity with. Does it like tip it over for me? No. But am I glad that they're doing it? Yeah. It annoys me to no ends that I can't buy those a la carte.
And there's also going to be the official GameCube controller.
Right, and that's really cool too. Yeah, absolutely.
Because we had unofficial ones, right?
The boomerang. Yeah.
We have an adapter for the original Switch. We have all this sort of stuff that.
Because I'm like, I could have sworn I've seen GameCube Switch.
I think we
controllers,
have, yeah.
but they're not official. They weren't official.
I think you're right.
There's some that are like character related, that sort of thing. Like Smash involved, but you need the connector in order to use them.
I got my friend like the Waluigi Wario controller for his birthday, and it was like a pro one. And I gotta admit, a little flimsy. I was not. It was very toy feeling. I was not a big fan.
Yeah, I got friends that got me a Link one that's wired. It's lighter, but it still works.
Yeah,
good.
mine's wireless, and it was like, or the one I got was wireless and was like officially like Nintendo licensed. So I was just surprised. I don't know. What's up next, Gooch?
Launch titles. We were already talking about this, but there are a lot of third parties. Mario Kart World, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD Remaster, which I fucking hate. That is a Switch exclusive. That's so annoying. It's another Square RPG. I'm gonna list
in their RPGs.
Survival Kids, Rune Factory, Split Fiction, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Intergrade, Street Fighter 6, Civilization 7, Cyberpunk 2027 Ultimate Edition. I wonder if that's a new SKU. Do they have a version of it that's all together?
I don't know actually.
So I wonder if they're going to release that.
I think they would announce something like that.
Because it's a new cover. It's like it had here. I'll show you real quick. Like that's new. I've never seen that art before.
Really, I've seen that. That's like
I'm
the
sure
main
it's
art.
Not with V, but like with Johnny and then Idris.
Oh, I thought you were talking. Sorry, I thought. Let me see again.
The
Oh
other,
yeah, that's probably new. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would assume so.
Hogwarts Legacy, Yakuza 0, Fortnite, Deltarunes Chapter 1 and 4. That was a new announcement. Puyo Puyo Tetris, Fast Fusion, Hitman, which was pretty interesting. The 007 game is going to be coming to Switch 2. Thought that was interesting that they decided to show that teaser again with no...
What's going on there?
They're probably playing homage to
Well,
Golden.
dude, the MGM thing has...
Right.
Amazon thing has...
So, but
must have something to do with it.
I think it might, but I don't know. I think that's already been kind of set in stone for a while, and like that.
The game?
Yeah, the game. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Does the new ownership complicate things? Is basically what I'm.
They were probably
getting
playing homage to GoldenEye, probably something.
Yeah,
like
I don't
that.
know.
That's true.
I would just love to see that game was announced like 4 years ago, like almost maybe even 5 at this point.
I still gotta play.
Hitman.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm getting back to it.
Oh, that's cool.
I had to navigate to other articles and then back. There's a lot of information. Like we're using a GameStop article that kind of. I love when you sum it up in the order it was in. That's how that's how I want it. From Darren Bontheus from GameSpot. Thank you for putting everything in order that it fucking happened because
Thanks,
that's the
Darren.
only way to talk about it. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I went over all the some other titles. We have our Football Club, NFL,
All the goodies.
WWE,
Yeah.
2 Point Museum, Witchbrook, Hollow Knight,
You
Silk
can look
Song,
up that whole list yourself.
Outlaws, Enter the
Yeah,
Gungeon. I could
he'll
go
still
on.
we
do
don't
it
have
anyway.
to. Yeah, we don't have to go through every single one.
Oh, I guess we have to go through every single one. But we're gonna go through our 3 big games that close this out.
Definitely.
The Dusk Bloods.
Now that was a surpriser. Like just seeing that there was going to be it's switched to exclusive, by the way,
FromSoft.
from Soft. It's
Bloodborne
crazy.
2. What
Very much a spiritual
for a minute, I
successor.
was like, "Is this Bloodborne 2?"
I mean, a lot of people were. I feel. I mean,
was
it's
like-
very much like, all right, fine, we'll do it ourselves type of
So,
vibe.
if you watch the trailer, I don't really think it tells you what the game is, but let me explain it. It's a new From Software game that was announced during the Switch 2 Direct. While we don't really have a lot of details on it, the brief teaser did show a steampunk sort of technology blend with gothic architecture, Bloodborne-esque. We have trains. It's that Industrial Revolution period, and a lot of blood talk.
Right.
It is a multiplayer game.
PvPvE, as far as I could tell.
Yeah, so it's like player versus environment versus player. So it is kind of like Elden Ring Night Rain.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say. That's
I don't know.
crazy.
How well did Night Rain do?
It's not out yet.
Oh, it's not. Right. Shit.
It comes out in May.
Right. So I
Yeah.
think that will really kind of dictate.
So, yeah,
what's going on?
I agree. But also, why make a multiplayer game on a system with a notoriously shitty multiplayer
setup.
systems.
Yeah.
It feels like a gamble. It feels like they're trying to say,
It really does.
if
I don't
you-
think this is like a guarantee smash.
I completely agree, and I'm surprised it's not just a straightforward single player like Souls-like. You know what I
Right.
mean?
It feels like they're trying to say, "Oh, we can do it now. Just watch us." But it's just a matter of how we actually
Right.
see it. be
Yeah, I
played
don't know.
out.
That's a good
From
point.
and Miyazaki are swinging that big black cock. Like
Oh, Jesus Christ.
that's what they're doing, dude. Come on.
No.
That's crazy. A Switch 2
No, it's
exclusive
true.
from From
No, they're-
Software
they're
is
slamming it
fucking
on the table.
Nuts. I mean, they did it. We've had.
It was just a very
Bloodborne.
vivid descriptor. That's
What
something.
are they going to do with Xbox? Are they going to give Xbox an exclusive?
No, I mean, it wouldn't be a stupid thing. Actually, I don't know.
I mean, eventually
Maybe.
it
I don't
could,
know.
but who's to say?
It's
I still
just-
feel like there's the reach there comparatively.
Because it's like Duskbloods, I would say, is a system seller.
true. No, I think
That is gonna
especially if
move
it's doing
units.
well. But the thing that confuses me the most though is that it's a multiplayer title. Like I feel like it would like undoubtedly move units if it was a straightforward just single player Souls-like game.
Oh, definitely.
So I do think making it like the multiplayer thing, like we're saying, is a bit of a gamble, and I really
it's
don't know.
2026, so it's a long way.
Yeah.
So if you're an immediate buy-in from this game, you do have a while to get it.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like really far out.
And hopefully we get to see it more in action. We get to see the actual gameplay, see how it actually does online before people start saying, "Oh, I'm going to buy this immediately because of it."
I'm curious
Right.
if it has any tie-in to Bloodborne or anything like that. We see like a lot of different kind of characters, like a Japanese character. We see like a like a broom handle pistol. Like there's a ton of different like styles.
I mean, you guys were
in
saying this is like a spiritual successor, pretty much.
Feels that way. For
I mean,
sure.
it definitely feels
Yeah.
like it, but I don't know.
They haven't like said that
I'm not-
explicitly,
Not
but yeah.
officially, but
Yeah. I'm curious what we're gonna see. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention for Mario Kart World, there's a direct in like 2 weeks for that. So
Love it.
yeah, we'll get some. More
And they've been showing
information
stuff
that.
on Nintendo Treehouse. There was one today, and there's one tomorrow too. I don't know if they'll cover it again, but who's to say?
We are getting an sequel to Kirby Kirby.
Air Ride.
No, what's the?
That was the original called Air Ride. Now
Now
one's
it's Air-
sequel is Air Riders.
Can you talk about this? Because that was like I don't know what this is.
It was pretty much
But it's a
game,
Kirby game.
It was a game that was on the GameCube. It was pretty much a racer game where you would be doing around on warp stars, that sort of thing.
So it's a racer.
Yeah, it was kind of a forgotten game somewhat. Some people knew about it, some people didn't. It's just a surpriser because actually this game has been requested for a long time, whether it's been ported or a sequel, along with the fact that Sakurai, who created Kirby, he's back. He's doing it. He's not
Yeah.
just Smash.
Right.
wow.
So a lot of people thought it was like it looked like Smash. I guess like
That
the
first
cinematic
render, yeah.
way. Like
Right.
I was like, holy shit! Like they said they were done. Sakurai said he was done with Smash.
I don't know about that, but
We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder if they gonna port the new Smash over?
that's a big thing.
Or are they
Whether-
gonna make another
whether or
one?
not Ultimate can be on that system or not? That's a good
Why?
question.
Why couldn't it be?
Because no Smash game has ever been ported to another system.
Oh, so yeah, I mean, but I think they are breaking a lot of precedent with this, like in the way of like, this is very much an iteration. It's very much a continuation. I wouldn't be surprised if it did pass over, but that's interesting. I didn't realize that.
Let's end it with the big one.
Let's end it with it.
The big guy.
The big boy.
Donkey Kong.
DK is back.
But- Bonanza.
DK. Donkey
Donkey Kong.
Kong. Sorry.
Do the whole rap.
No, I can't. It's
Hey,
gone.
you want to do the whole thing?
No, don't
I
make
have
me
to
do
admit,
it. No.
I'm not a Donkey Kong fan. I've never, I don't pick him in Kart. I don't pick him in Smash.
He's my Mario Party go-to. I will
okay,
say. Yeah.
okay. I don't pick him in Party.
Yeah.
But I love this new design. It's not a new design. It's like it's kind of like an old one, but a new.
It goes back to his original design. From
It
all the way
looks
back
so
in the
good.
arcade
It does.
Game. I mean, you've seen this design before. You've seen it in the Mario movie. You've seen it.
I was
in
gonna
Mario
say
Kart.
it seemed very similar to that.
Yeah, I was like, is Seth Rogen gonna? I was waiting for it. But man, dude, I was impressed. I think this game really showed what the Switch 2 is going to be able to do, and it's not a launch title, but it's a month after
Yeah,
launch.
so
on July
mine is
17th.
mine as well be.
I think like that. It's going to move units, obviously, but I feel even though it's not a launch title, it's still like it doesn't matter.
Oh, it's huge news. Like we
Yeah.
haven't had a 3D platformer Donkey Kong since DK64. Like everyone was saying, like you need a sequel, you need to remake it, et cetera, et cetera. No
Yeah.
one ever tried to do it again.
And
because of
Nintendo,
its-
and then, yeah, sorry, I thought you
go
were
ahead.
ending sooner than you were. Nintendo console, they have to launch with a party game, whether it's Kart
Or
Party,
Party.
Smash, whatever. But they have to launch with one of the big three: Zelda, Mario, or Donkey Kong. And this is like, it sounds like maybe they just didn't want to release it on launch, but
How old is Odyssey?
That was like
It's a Switch launch
that
title.
was like
so
2017, 2018.
Switch launched with Odyssey and Tears of the Kingdom.
Breath of the Wild.
Thank you. And I think that like the Switch was doing, had a hot launch.
I mean, both those games were nominated for Game of the Year, and Breath
And
of the Wild
everyone,
won.
right? And you buy a Switch, and guess what games you're buying? Both of those,
Right. Right.
And Mario Party 8.
Everyone was expecting that, expecting either a Zelda or another Mario 3D platformer, but this is a big one.
Hey,
Like, they go with Donkey Kong instead.
If they can live up to what Astrobot did, if they can be better than that, because I think that's really like their competition right now, like directly instead of just themselves. It's
I was watching
what did Astrobot do?
Right.
I was watching
In terms of
details on it
physics
today.
and stuff. Yeah.
I was watching details on it today. It's very environmental sort of area. You
Looks
kinda-
like it,
you-
yeah.
You pick up stuff, you collect a bunch of gold pieces, you get to throw stuff, you get to even ride
Demolish things, right?
demolish stuff. Like the entire area is destructible. Like yeah, it will tell you like what area is like in hardness scale. Like it's probably going to be a level
Hardness, like literal like firmness.
Yeah, like
Interesting.
like whether or not you
It's
can
that's a hard planet.
like you can whether or not you can actually mess with it.
My
Yet or not.
planet's
I
pretty hard.
see. Interesting. Huh. Yeah.
Anything else, Drew?
I said it at the beginning. That's the coolest announcement for me. My most interested announcement for sure. So
There hasn't
I'm
been-
excited. Yeah.
There hasn't been a new Donkey Kong game since probably Chocolate Freeze
I was
back
gonna
on its
ask,
original
like-
version on the Wii U. And
that's
This
the
is the
weird
first
ports.
like proper one
That's
we've
the weird
gotten
thing
since
about
then.
Nintendo. Like that's such a weird like when you say
so
that out
many,
loud.
yeah.
It's just like that's crazy. I mean, like same with like F-Zero. How have we not gotten another F-Zero game?
I mean, it's kind of wild to me that we haven't gotten another proper Mario game in that long since
I mean,
Odyssey. Like,
I
and I
think
know
it's
maybe
their-
that's normal.
You're probably thinking because of Galaxy and Galaxy 2, but that's kind of been the norm. Like
Has it been? Okay,
you
yeah,
had-
I
you
wouldn't
had-
know.
It's one big title.
You had 64, you had Sunshine, and then you had 2 games on the Wii. Now you're back to 1 on the Switch. So
I see. Okay.
Well, dude,
but now since Switch, yeah, okay.
they're cooking. You know, Zelda's far away since we just got Tears of the Kingdom. So Mario is definitely up next.
I
And
would love to
Metroid
play
Prime
that.
4 is on
Tears
the
of the
horizon,
Kingdom,
too.
Echoes of Wisdom. Like
Yeah.
they have a lot of time to do.
Definitely.
It's going to be interesting. Like you said with F-Zero, I'm hoping because since you asked the question, we haven't had a new F-Zero if you don't want to count the versus mode on Switch since the GameCube.
Yeah, yeah, with a not GX, F-Zero G.
No, I'm stalling on it too.
Yeah, it's on the Virtual Console, but that's it. I think
That's
there's a lot of. We'll end it with some quick final thoughts. A lot of good, a lot of bad, and a lot of ugly. There's a lot of modern gaming stink all over this, but I think it could be worse.
I think it could be too,
yeah.
especially if that $90 thing is true, and the physical games aren't
Please
90.
don't. Let me just
I mean, still $80 sucks, of course, but yeah.
Iwata, if you hear me, don't let it happen.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I don't have too much else to say. I thought, we kind of worked through each point really well. I think, like you said, a lot of good, a lot of bad, bit of a mixed bag. I think the pricing is reasonable on the console itself. I think they do start to nickel and dime you in a few other different ways that I'm not too psyched about. Not getting this game, not getting this console at launch. I will definitely eventually get it because I do want Mario Kart. I want that updated Mario Party. It's a nice party console to have. I love to be able to invite everyone over and we can all pop on the fucking Switch and do
That's
everything.
always what Nintendo's been.
Yeah,
Like,
for
they're-
sure.
They're the party console.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm like that
the
precedent.
co-op. Yeah,
Yeah. Chris, anything?
I would definitely say, like you said, plenty of good, plenty of bad, plenty of ugly. Even for me, who's a longtime Nintendo fan, like this is what broke the camel's back. Well, not necessarily broke me entirely, but the fact that how they're doing this with the games. Otherwise, when it comes to the console, I feel like it's a good step forward. I'm looking forward to see what other sorts of stuff is happening, bringing back a bunch of IPs that's been dormant for who knows how long. I just feel like it definitely will be a step forward. I know that people will complain that it's not going to be cutting edge current hardware, but that Nintendo succeeds regardless of that. That's always been their shtick.
100%. Anything else, gentlemen?
That's it, man.
Fantastic.
I'm not getting it.
Gooch isn't getting it. We're gonna
Yeah.
get it. It's a matter of time, though.
Yeah, I'm not going to get it. I'm probably not going to get it launched. I got a lot going on this year.
Right. No, for sure. Same here. Maybe by holiday, but who knows? But thank you all so much for watching with us live. If you've been with us on Twitch, twitch.tv/Delco Nerd Network. We really do appreciate your time. You can find this podcast, anywhere podcasts are found. Just search our name on your service of choice. We are on all the social medias as well, at Delco Nerds, on everything with an @ sign. We got a Facebook page, Discord channel, all that good stuff will be linked down below for you. You can find all this information on our website, delconerdnetwork.com. You can even email us your comments, questions, or concerns to delconerds@gmail.com. We're happy to respond. But for Gooch, for Chris, I've been Trio. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay nerdy. We will see you next time.
Let's go.